So from last two discussions about Hibernate, we discussed and how to integrate Hibernate through Spring also we have discussed. In case if you choose ORM for CRUD operations, we choose ORM CRUD for CRUD operations here. We can draw that. Yeah. If you choose ORM, what all you need to do is you have to create a session factory bean in your at the rate configuration class. For creating session factory bean, we have few statements that we need to use. Spring with Hibernate. So this is the main step, right? Under configuration class, it's loading. Yeah. We have configuration class as well as annotation configuration class. In latest API, it is configuration only for both XML scenario and annotations. Earlier, we used to have two types of containers, Hibernate containers. Configuration is one container, annotation configuration is another container. Okay, as I'm using annotation based Hibernate, I'm using annotation configuration and loading configuration file, creating session factory, and I'm returning that session factory here because I want to register that bean. Okay, this bean where it will register up to here your Hibernate code is executing. Then you are trying to putting this session factory object into IOC container. As soon as I return it, and if that method is annotated with at the rate bean, right, your session factory will be registered into IOC. So whichever object is available in IOC, it is ready for auto wire. Wherever you want to use, you just auto wire it. My session factory object is created. I can auto wire in my DAO and I can execute all my CRUD operations. From here, you know what to do. DAOs need to be injected into services need to be injected into controllers so that when end user submits his data, your controller could able to get that data. From here, you can forward that to your service class. Service can forward it to your DAO, and the DAO can keep the data into model object. Model is important, right? In Hibernate, ORM model is very important component. So we put data into model component and we give that model to session methods, save, update, delete, whichever method it is. As soon as you give your model to session methods, it will execute its respective CRUD operations, save or update or delete or select. That is what we are doing here. We are doing simple save operation. So now if I extend it a little bit more, if you want to see for update operation, in my DAO if I want to do update operation, so update, same thing, open session, begin transaction, create employee, put all your T2O data into employee bean, and you have update method actually here. You have update method. Update will not return any long. Okay, just it will update whatever data you give, and finally you can return as it is your TTO. In update scenario, including ID we will submit. As in save scenario, we are not putting ID. ID is auto generated. That's why I'm setting it up here. But in update scenario, complete object you need to send, including ID. Without ID, update cannot be performed. So I'm sending my DTO and putting that DTO data into my model class here using the bean copy utils and trying to give object here for update. For more, consistency before update, You may verify this employee existed in database or not. That also you can do. That also you can do. If employee exists, you can update. If not exist, you can, or you may throw exception also, so that before firing update itself, it will check whether this employee is there or not. In case of save scenario, we don't have such problem. In general, while saving means I am trying to inserting the record. That means there is no record before with that particular ID. As ID is auto generated, save never fails. Save never fails. Just a minute, guys. Yes. Okay. So in case of save scenario, we need not to worry about whether employee is there or not. Definitely that object will not be there. It will save 100%. But during update, whichever object you sent with ID may available or may not available. Sometimes some manipulations may change the ID instead of existing ID in database. It may put wrong ID. In wrong ID scenarios, update may not work. So before update you better check whether that object is available or not. He is asking for the ID 2940. Starts with 2940. Okay. So I wanted to before update I wanted to check whether this record existed or not. So you can do that. Better to do that, right? Session dot find. Which method we have? Get method usually, right? Get method. Get class. Which class I wanted to get? Employee class. Employee with the ID. What is the ID you submitted in D2, right? So get ID from there. I am asking, give me employee object which is having this ID. Okay, so it will give that employee object. So once you get the employee object, if not null, then update. If null not equal to EMP, update it and commit your transaction. Or you may do all this stuff here itself. Which thing? Beginning transaction also you can do here. If employee object is there, just do update. Okay. Now, just a minute, guys. It's struggling. Wait, AM link. Okay. So session dot close. Fine. Now, if in case employee not exist, what you can do? Plus, from else I want to throw exception. Before that, I want to ensure to close it. So if not performed here, if employee not existed there, then if else, close the session and throw new employee not found exception. Employee record not available with the given ID. So create this exception class also. Exception class with the private string message and one parameterized constructor source generate the constructor using field one parameterized constructor. Again go to source generate toString method. Bus. So it will throw exception, unhandled exception. Throw it. In case if employee available, it will save it. If not available, here I may get the exception, right? How I can handle it? Try with uh, session. My session need to ensure I should close it. In case of success scenario, okay. Either one scenario it will execute, right? Success or fail. Cool. If it go to if, it will execute this and close. If it comes to else, it will close. Or else finally block. Okay. So this is how you can implement update scenario and delete scenario. Delete employee. Open session, create employee object, and for delete also you can verify it before deleting itself. Because if record not available, if you perform delete, what it will do? Nothing it will do. So better get that record. If a record available, then delete it. Use delete method. Bus. If not available, it will throw as usual same exception. As soon as it's deleted, why we need to return something? Delete methods can have void. We may return nothing. Just delete it. Bus. In case if you have select operations, how you can do select one single record, find by ID. Just a minute, please. Swami, క్లాస్లో ఉన్న స్వామి ఆహా, చూస్తా స్వామి ఆ, సరే చెక్ చేస్తాను స్వామి ఇప్పుడు ఉమ్, సరే సరే ఒక అరగంటలో కాల్ చేస్తాను స్వామి చెక్ చేస్తా ఒక అరగంటలో కాల్ చేస్తా చెక్ చేస్తా ఫైండ్ బై ఐడి Okay. So find by ID, just ID is enough as an input. Or if you want to send it via DTO, Kali ID itself send it. Okay. And as usual, get method we can use. You can use get method and return this employee. If employee not null, return yeah. Instead of employee, return DTO. Use this bean copy utils. Now from employee to dump data into DTO. Move, shift your data from employee to DTO. While coming, my employee DTO got only one ID number only. So just giving that number into employee object, and even this conversion also not required. You can see carefully. So just giving DTO dot get ID, passing ID here, and expecting complete employee record with that ID, so it will return it. If employee record available, then do this. If employee record available, then do this and return it. Transaction is not required as this is a select operation. Return DTO object. Return DTO. So while coming, DTO will bring only ID. While returning, we are returning a DTO with the data. In case if data not available, say exception. And the last scenario, find all. For find all, no input is required. ID not required, DTO not required because I need to return the employee records. So even this get method also not useful in that scenario. So which method I should use? Session.html approach we have. Using create query, you can do HQL query here from employee. Your B name you should give here from employee. That's it. Usually SQL query looks like this. Select the star from employee. Table is employee 007. This is how we write SQL. But this is HQL. Simple from employee if you give, it will understand. Query engine will understand. Okay, he is asking for select star from employee. Employee bean means this is mapped to this table. So it will understand, okay, let me fire query on table by generating this query. So create query method will return query object. I want it query object you can will be getting here. From this query object you can get all that list of objects. It will return all the list of employee objects. That's it. No result set, nothing iterations. We'll be getting employee list here. We'll be getting employee list. Now you can check if employee list dot is empty, not. If your employee list is not empty, return it in the form of DTOs. We need to return, right? List of DTOs you can return. I just don't want to expose my D. Sorry. Ah, ah, ah. Free ఉన్నాయా స్లీపర్? అవి కాదు స్లీపర్ కావాలి. అవి బుక్ చేసేసేయండి. నేమ్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా దాంట్లో, వాళ్ళ నేమ్స్ కూడా ఉన్నాయి కదా, అందరికి బుక్ చేయండి. ఇంకో హాఫ్ అన్ అవర్. నేమ్స్ ఏదైనా డౌట్ ఉంటే నాకు పెట్టండి. నేను ఆ గ్రూప్లో పెట్టున్నా చూడండి, మన పేర్లు వాళ్ళకి పెట్టా. వాళ్ళ పేర్లు అయితే మీకు దాంట్లో ఉన్నాయి కదా ఫామ్లో. చేసేయండి, అందరికి చేసేయండి సరేనా? అది ఎంతైతే స్లీపర్ చేసేయమని చెప్పి ఆరేసి. కాదు కాదు, అప్పటికి వచ్చేస్తాయి. విజయవాడ నుంచి కదా, అది సికింద్రాబాద్ నుంచి లేదా ఆ ట్రైన్? ఒకసారి చెక్ చేయండి. అదే ట్రైన్ సికింద్రాబాద్ నుంచి ఉంటే మొత్తం సికింద్రాబాద్ నుంచే చేయండి, అదే ట్రైన్ చూడాలి. ఓకే ఓకే. select okay, so here employee list it will return. If employee list is not empty, I'm putting not empty, not, then return it, return in the form of this dtos. So I need to return this, right? This employee list need to be converted into employee dtos. So we can do this for each. You may use streams here if you are good in streams. I can't quickly put that code here. Okay, so I'm iterating employee object, and I'll be copying each into DTO. I'll be creating one DTO object, and I'll be shifting this data into DTO. All argument constructor, no argument constructor. When we apply builder pattern, it is not allowing no argument constructor. So observe that, okay? You need to put no argument constructor also. So employee DTO created and employee data moving into DTO. Finally, create a list object, list DTOs list, and after iteration, add DTO here. If not empty, you can return DTO list. If empty, close the session. No employee record. No employee record available. Which means not even a single record available in database. In case if no records, then throwing this exception. Okay, so all CRUD methods has been implemented using simple Hibernate just by integrating session factory. You may test it. Maybe you can implement service methods also here, like create. You can have update, delete, select, select all. Update, delete. For update, you may call update. Delete, find employee. For delete, we have delete method. Delete returns nothing. Make it void. Throwing exception. Find a employee, single employee record. So we have find by ID and expecting just ID, right? Get ID. Gotcha. Okay, DTO only it is taking that. So pass this DTO itself. And last one is find all employee. Find all employee. List of DTOs. So create to, update to, delete to, find out. Okay. Session also done. And then next, controller. Same methods, right? Let me copy. Maybe you You may have different HTTP methods, right? Maybe put method for update, employee service dot update employee. For delete, we have HTTP delete method. Now just dummy methods I'm writing, okay? But in general, we use HTTP methods, right? Delete employee. For find, we do use get by ID employee service dot find employee, get all employees. Plus controller also done. Now we can test each method. Earlier we tested simple post method for doing save operation. So it was inserted data X, check it in database employee 007 table having how many records. Select star from employee 007. We have 7 records. Okay, okay. Maybe I'll truncate this data. Okay, no data. Let's test each method. Okay, post will save it. Let's run it. Okay, so insert is done. Started from 8th because existing sequence it is using. That sequence is already generated up to 7. Now for new record 8 it is using. Cool. Now update method. Put method. Put will call internally update method. So in update scenario, as I said, right? Update need not return anything. If it executes, that's fine. Okay, are we returning? Okay. So if I change something here, it will update. If record exists, it will update. I'm expecting exception. Cool. It is saying ID ID to load is required for loading from employee service controller DAO. In DAO, we are trying to getting employee DAO dot get ID, right? ID itself as a input not given. That's why here itself exception coming. So you need to give ID na. So ID you should enter dot ID. So ID 8. Actually ID is 8. But if I give instead of 8, 9 if I give, and if I run this update method, see exceptions now. What? I give an ID, right? not save. Okay, run it again. Again, ID 9L long variable. Okay, so now you can see custom exception that we have thrown. Employee not found exception. Message employee record not available with the given ID. So throwing the exception. This is the exception scenario. Okay. So we'll see exception handlings, how to handle it. Okay, later. For now, let's enjoy the exceptions itself. Now if I give valid ID is 8. If I give valid ID and run it, it will execute successfully. Already associated with the session. So a different object with the same identifier associated. So no unique key from DAO. I'm trying to updating it. Employee object. What did he saying? A different object with the same identifier value was already associated with the session. So why you are using new object? Rather than new object, use the same object. Same object, how I can use? It should be modified. It should be modified. Okay. Same object only I am trying to update. Instead of two different objects, already selected object is available now. It is asking to use that. Okay. Employee table is getting updated. As I given correct input. Okay. Put also fine. We'll do select operation also. Before that, let me insert one more record without ID. So I got two records into DB now. We will do select and select all operations. Finally, we'll do delete operation. Let me comment it. Controller dot get by ID. Okay, get by ID. In case of get by ID scenario, not all this data required. Kali ID is required. Remaining you can ignore. Only send ID. Pass it into it. Finally, it will return you completed TTO. Okay. Mostly you can print that complete data rather than ID, and you can see whether it is giving that data associated with the 8 long number. Null, null, null. No data. Right, so employee object should be there with the given ID 8. Is it not properly copying get ID? It will go here and we are calling find employee. So it is calling DAO's find by ID. Find by ID, TTO, ID giving. So employee object I will get here. If employee not null, acha. This dummy object I am using. Not at all required. Data need to be mapped from this object. Okay. Code is working. We did wrong. So getting data code and find all also. Let's test list of objects. Find get all. For get all, no input is required. I don't know why I given remove. Okay, no input is required. So it will fetch list of DTOs. It will fetch list of DTOs for us. So you put that list here. List of DTOs. So how many we have? Two. Only two we have. So that two DTOs list it will be. For each DTO, okay, I can do this right. Can't. So you can print each DTO once. So list of DTOs will be returned, and you can able to see them. You can able to fetch all the records. Finally, if you want, you can test controller dot delete. Give an employee object which is having ID. Run it. What it is saying? A different object associated. Yeah, the same mistake we have in the delete method also. Just associated object only passed. New employee object is not required. Just delete it. Okay. So it is deleted. So you can see all these functions are working fine. But we integrated plain Spring with the plain Hibernate. Both two different frameworks we integrated manually. We integrated manually by implementing a configuration. By implementing a configuration here. Now, without this Hibernate also given some template classes. Usually, they also need this session factory input. Okay. So if I use that Hibernate template, they will make This CRUD operations easy. So here we written lot of lines, right? Again in Hibernate also opening session, transaction stuff, closing transactions and all. See how I will avoid this similar stuff using Hibernate template. Employee DAO with the Hibernate template. Okay, here instead of session factory, I'll use Hibernate template dependency. Hibernate template. This is like your JDBC template. Hibernate template. Now, need not to open session, begin transaction, remove them, and you want to save a object. Use Hibernate template dot save. It will save your record. No commit, no close operations required. Delete. Keep only your business statements apart from this template dot save method or update. Open session is not required. And to get, you have Hibernate template. Hibernate template dot get. It will give you record. And this session again not required. Hibernate template dot update. These two statements also not required. This is also not required. We are trying to minimizing the things. You see, templates are helping you just by minimizing the code. Whichever code you feel lot of times unnecessary you are writing, that it is avoid. But delete, you have a template dot delete. Hibernate template dot get for single record. For all records, we used a create query approach, right? So can I expect that Hibernate template dot create query? Create a query not there. Find us. Similar to it, it's a find method. So find method directly returning you list of employees, not even a query. It is firing query and giving you record. Then need not to worry about the session. See, all CRUD operations become simple here using this template. How this Hibernate template will function? Internally, Hibernate template again will use session factory only. Whichever logic you have implemented, the same logic they have inside this methods. But without session factory, it will not function. And to auto-wire it, somewhere it need to be initialized. So in your configuration class, you need to create Hibernate template also. At the rate being Hibernate template, you should create public Hibernate template, create Hibernate template. How to create? Simple. Hibernate template ht is equal to new Hibernate template of session factory. So you can call this create session factory method. Bus. Return Hibernate template. That's it. One extra bean that you need to create Hibernate template. You can auto-wire Hibernate template into your DO classes and play with it. For save, simple save, single line statement. For a get, as usual. No open session, no closing session, no transaction, nothing. If you see, things become simple here, comparing with the past one. Now you may auto-wire this DAO into your session, sorry, service. just comment this DAO and put this DAO and check. As usual, your methods will execute. So just to find all is there with Hibernate template, see how it will do. Employee record not available with given ID. Okay, delete method we tested, right? Finally. Cool. That is expected only. So list of all employees. You can check. Fetching as usual. One record only available. Is it? Select employee 007. Okay, with the record ID 9 only, we have one record. Then why it is giving 8? Acha. I'm printing wrong out. So there is only one record that it is fetching and showing it. So you can go through both the examples and you can see the differences. Okay, Hibernate template and session differences. Whatever differences you see, the same differences it is having. Okay, uh, nothing much here in this. Okay, you just go through it. In advanced Spring Boot, you will see more, uh, easiest approaches.